Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. A special thanks to our Patreon patrons and to our YouTube subscribers. You're keeping Shane afloat. He's able to get out here and tape these things, and it's important that you remember to subscribe if you can afford so. If you can't afford to, or even if you are a subscriber, please, at a minimum, link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. That's real money to Shane. It costs nothing to you. It costs Amazon. Link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. It is free for you. Shane gets $2.50. It's part of your Prime subscription. Don't let that go to waste. Take advantage. It takes literally 3 clicks and you're done. Hey, fellow babies. Today's question from YouTube from Matthew Pilla 4323. Reports have suggested that Trump's tariffs could kill physical games for good because of where they're usually manufactured. Do you think physical games died because consumers don't want them, or because the industry pushed consumers that direction by removing disk drives from consoles or making the drive-based versions more expensive? Have third-party publishers and platform holders been secretly pushing for this all along? How much more money does a publisher make on a digital-only video game? Okay, good questions all. Physical discs cost about $1. And the manufacturer is just a series of machines that write the code onto a disk. I mean, they're like lasers. They kind of etch it onto the disk. The right question is, if you manufacture in China, because it's $1 in China, what's the tariff on? Is it $1 or is it on the $70 retail price of the game? I cannot imagine that anybody except Donald Trump is stupid enough to try to charge a tariff on all $70. And realistically, he can issue all the executive orders he wants. U.S. Customs is going to figure that out. And it's a fair argument to charge the tariff on $1, so it'd be 25 cents. And the video game publisher will eat it. They don't care. They won't pass it through. I can't imagine it would be on the full 70. If it were, bring the machines here and manufacture here. And there are guys who do that. I mean, there are for physical media like movie DVDs that are produced here. I mean, they just are, because they don't want to send the file to China because they fear it. The problem there is that the movie studios don't want to send a copy of Wicked to China. They don't trust that copy won't get leaked out. And then they do everything they can to tamper-proof the discs, so the discs are hard to crack, but it doesn't work, but they try. So anyway, I don't think that really makes much difference at all. But let me give you the economics of physical media versus digital downloads. Physical media is priced at 20% discount for the manufacturer's royalty and 20% discount for the retailer. So a disc not made by Sony or Microsoft, so let's say Grand Theft Auto. I'll go with $70, even though I think GTA is $100. If GTA costs $70 and you buy a copy at GameStop buys it for $56, and they mark it up to $70, and they make $14 on a retail copy. 20%. The disc is manufactured, and Sony or Microsoft, whichever console you bought it on, asks for their $14. They also get 20%. So on a $70 disc, Take-Two would get $70 retail price minus the retail share 14 minus the manufacturer's royalty 14. So they would get, $42? So they get $42. And so to be fair, they really don't want to pay anybody anything. If they sell a PC version digital, and let's just pretend they were able to charge $70 for that, they get 70. Now if they do it themselves, if you download from their website, they get 70. What do you think Steam charges? 30%. So if they sell it on Steam, they get 30% less, right? So 30%, $21. So they get $49. Difference to them is $7, 10%. So 40% paid out, 2020 console manufacturer and retailer. or 30% to the download service. If Steam charges 30%, what do you think Microsoft and Sony charge for a digital download? 30%. So same thing. So they make $49 if they sell it through Microsoft or Sony. And you may have noticed, if you look at console games, and I'll just tell you, don't look at GTA because GTA doesn't come out very often. Look at EA Sports Football Club or Madden, and go to the EA.com website and try to download it to your Xbox. You can't. Isn't that wrong? But you can't, because EA could sell it to you directly and keep all $70. They're not allowed to do that. They have to sell through Microsoft and Sony and let those guys get their $21. The answer to your question is the publishers make 10% more on a digital download than they make on a physical copy. The real reason that physical games died is because fewer and fewer young bucks who grew up with digital downloads had any concept that you could trade a game in and get value for it. And more old fogies like me who used to buy all physical and trade them in, we died. And so, and at the same time, GameStop got worse and worse and worse, and people just didn't want to go in there anymore. Hard drive space, bandwidth, you might have had your console in your basement. All those reasons went away. So the only real reason to buy physical was you either valued the trade-in or you valued the portability of a physical copy. So the publishers have an incentive to get away from physical, and they're really managing that well. Consumers are finding fewer and fewer reasons to buy physical. And again, the only real reason now is because you want to trade it in. And that trade-in market, as younger people have come up buying digital only, they don't want used copies. Now, because every year they sell fewer physical copies, if a game wasn't born physical, it never gets traded in. So fewer physical games sold every year means fewer trade-ins, means less used inventory. So when the PS6 comes out, there's just not going to be that much old PS5 physical inventory. So you're just not going to be able to do that. So it's one of those things that's a death spiral for physical, which is why GameStop has no chance of remaining in business as a games company. They'll be a Bitcoin investor, but they're not going to make it as a games company. Publishers have always wanted this because they make that 10% more. They never pushed anybody until about the time of the PS4, so 2013, because, again, hard drives weren't big enough. And where you saw this actually really happening was when hard drives got big. So the PS4, I think the actual standard version was a terabyte. If it wasn't, it was 500 gigs. So it was a giant hard drive. That's gotten better with PS5. They've just gotten bigger hard drives and better at it. And yes, the console makers have managed to sell you the download only model at a cheaper price. So they've really pushed hard to get rid of it. This was going to go away anyway, but they sped it up. We were absolutely convinced that neither Sony nor Microsoft would even make a unit that had a disk drive in it. Why did those have a physical media drive? Because consumers still wanted them in 2019. Now we're up to 2025, and I don't think very many consumers want them. The next generation of consoles, no chance it's going to happen. So physical media is absolutely going away. And, the number of households that can afford a console that don't have an internet connection is pretty much zero. I mean, that's really why. Because they can force you into download, and you just don't mind. The publishers have always been pretty naive about used games, because I've always thought used games create currency for people to buy new games. The car market, if they suddenly stopped allowing you to trade in used cars, what would happen? We would drive cars until the wheels fell off before we bought a new car. It would hurt new car sales if you couldn't trade it in. I firmly believe used game trade-ins drive new game purchases. I firmly believe the games industry caused a problem for itself, and we've seen fewer new games purchased because nobody can trade in their old games. I think that's been the reason for the decline in console software sales for the last couple of years. No publisher agrees with me. This is my view and my view alone. I, again, can't prove it. You can never prove it because it's obviously game by game, and lots of other stuff has happened in the games business. Games have gotten longer, multiplayer's gotten bigger, so your games last longer because you can do more stuff with them. And so, you can literally play Call of Duty year round and not ever run out of stuff to do. So I don't know what really contributed to the malaise in the games market, but mobile has incurred, what's the right word? Pinched upon, upon the market because people spend more time doing that. I'd say streaming media, video has impinged upon people playing games. But I do think get rid of use was a dumb idea. But publishers hate it. They hate GameStop. They're getting their wish on GameStop. That the last GameStop store probably closes by 2030, unless Ryan Cohen comes up with another thing to do. I still think they'd make good cannabis stores. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor. If you're a SIFTD subscriber through Patreon, or if you're a YouTube subscriber, thank you. You're helping out a lot. If you're doing that or not, please try to remember to link your Amazon Prime account and your Twitch Prime account. That's free for you. It's easy to do. There are instructions on how to do so in the show description below. If you just click on that, about 3 clicks, and you are re-upped. You have to do it every month. So if you haven't done it in a while, please try to remember to do that. Shane gets paid. It costs you nothing. You are sticking it to Amazon. I wish Tesla was paying him so you could stick it to Elon Musk. But anyway, stick it to Amazon because it's free. And take advantage. Don't let a free benefit go untapped. Tap it. Tap that thing. Anyway, thanks for joining us, fellow babies. We will see you next week.